Yeah, I'm not doing the real theme song because I don't want HBO striking this video. I am the Ruthless Wonder, not a Ruthless Wonder, and you may be a fortunate member of the Justice League, and so you are watching this, listening to this, checking in on this right after we just got done talking E3. But Lando, aka Bammy, has dipped, and I have added in a new guest because we are talking. That's right, Game of Thrones season 7 preview. We're getting ready for it. Now it
Yes.
begins. No, now it ends. So I have a different co-host with me. I got a different guest star, if you will. Jenny, how are you doing? Say hi to the people.
I'm very good, Ruthless. How are you?
I'm in a particularly ruthless mood. I've been shouting about bad publishers and gaming all day, so better to just yell about D&D and how they're doing my show wrong by only giving it 7 episodes. So let's do this. Let's
D&D or
do this. So I let's hop right in here. Season 7 is about 3 weeks away now.
about a month. It's actually would be 30 days because it's
Oh,
the 16th of June, so it's 30 days away.
it's exactly 30 days. So we're gonna get this July 16th, my mom's birthday at 9. I of course will be having dinner with my mother because it's her birthday, and then I'll come home and I'll watch Game of Thrones and yell at my screen because I know something's gonna make me angry. Do you see how this works, folks? There's a pattern. The things I love make me angry, and so I yell about them on the internet. It's a wonderful pattern.
It's
But
a cycle.
let's talk about this because season 7 is, of course, shorter episodes, 7 episodes, but it's also apparently a lot more action packed. I want to get your initial thoughts on just what you've heard so far. Not don't tell us everything because we're going to go into some stuff specifically, but overall
Right.
thoughts on the leaks and the of course official announcements so far that you've heard, interviews, things of that nature. Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling trepidatious? What are you feeling about season 7 so far?
I mean, I'm excited because it's Game of Thrones, and yes, they pushed it back 2 months, so it feels kind of weird because we should have had our season of Game of Thrones right now, and yet we're still without a season. So it kind of has that, that buzz, like, oh, I want my season to come like so soon. But I don't know, like in terms of I haven't seen much into the leaks. I'm gonna shout out my brother. He was a Game of Thrones savant. He's the one who's been like throwing the leaks towards me and like throwing like fan theories and stuff. And I know he's just super hyped. He's this season, and I'm kind of there with them. So
The leaks are amazing. We're going to get into some of the specific ones here, but everything going on seems to be good. Obviously, there's stuff that long time listeners and viewers know I'm long time upset with. Starting, of course, with Dorn. Um, but listen, you took my two favorite houses, and in one case got rid of all but one of them, and in the other
yeah,
literally murdered them in the dumbest plot I have ever heard of. Um, yeah, folks, as folks know, I am the Ruthless Wonder, aka Nahario Dane, of House Dane, the Sword of the Morning, wielder of Dawn, and clearly the coolest black guy with purple eyes you'll ever know. Uh, but shout out to House Dane. That's my favorite house. Always has been.
it's a good house.
From the moment they were introduced in the books, I was sold. Like, okay, not only do you not get to just be given this sword, but you gotta prove that you're the most worthy person in the house to then possibly have the ability to be given the sword. You then have to do amazing feats to get it. Like the idea that Arthur Dane was ever beaten is crazy. And then when you watch the Game of Thrones version of the Tower of Joy scene where he dies, he looks even more badass. I can't show it right now because we will definitely get copyright stricken for it. But
Yeah.
somebody went back in and put lightsaber effects on everyone's swords
I
for that
remember
battle.
I remember seeing that. I'm like, that just made the scene better in a way. Because like that's a lightsaber scene almost in a way.
Well, they did that, and they did a GIF of that, and then somebody else went back in, took the video of it, put the lightsaber effects in. and then put in the Imperial March as fighting him. Because folks that don't know, and this is a freeform show, we'll talk about all kinds of crazy stuff throughout this. But so here's the deal: the guy playing Arthur Dane in the TV show is actually the head sword trainer for Game of Thrones. He's the all your favorite sword fighting scenes. He's the one that trained the actors to do this stuff. And so they were looking for somebody to play Arthur Dane last season. They're like, why don't we just use him? Can he make a face and be stoic in the way he says something? Probably. All right, well, let's just use him then, because he's the only one that can handle 2 fucking swords at one time. And when he does, you're like, what in the... That's a real swordsman, people. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen, I have like a year and a half of Iaido under my belt. I would be murdered in seconds fighting him.
That is
like,
he's gonna
take my weight out of this. Take my intelligence out of this. I would be duh.
I'm just saying, he's like the pinnacle of 2-sword fighting for Dungeons and Dragons. If you've ever played D&D, he's like the pinnacle, like the example of 2-sword fighting whenever you're doing that in the game. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, so they got him to play Arthur Dane, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the greatest knight in the history of knights, possibly, next to the Dragon Knight. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's use this guy.
It works.
Sufficiently frightening. The only reason Ned Stark's alive is because Howland Reed is a ninja and came out with a shank out of nowhere. Like, it was like, are you Randy Orton? All right, let's go.
Just using ninja skills here.
But yeah, so I was really happy with that. But no, I'm looking forward to this season. I don't think we're going to get another major flashback like the Tower of Joy scene, but clearly Bran's going to be doing a lot more stuff in the past, possibly maybe showing other people their past / the past, like maybe even seeing the future the way some of that stuff looked. I know you remember last season where Bran sees the wildfire scenes that turned out not to be Aerys, but Cersei using the wildfire. Like that. So I'm interested to see where that kind of stuff's going. That of course brings us to the stupidity of look.
Lay it on me.
The woman who plays Ilaria is a great actress. I forget her name, but I first remember seeing her in Luther, actually playing his wife in the first season of Luther, and finding out like she was in other stuff and seeing some of her other performances. I was happy to have her on the show, but she's everything that's wrong with Game of Thrones, and it's not her fault.
Like, is it just endemic to the show wrong, or what are you thinking?
Yes, because it's everything that's wrong with the show is encapsulated in what they have done with her character and had her do, motivation-wise, as well as physical, as well as actual actions. She was doing well as the paramour to Oberyn. She had the right reactions in those scenes, and then they turned it into her somehow becoming a like super ninja poisoner who like wants to kill the brother of the man she loved and watched die. Like, there's so much because he didn't want to start a war where they didn't have enough troops to beat anybody. Like, there's so much wrong with her character from season 6 and before that I just, it's everything that's wrong with Game of Thrones. It's shortening a storyline that is important for time's sake, and then trying to find something new to do with it, which is what brings me to season 7 and my problem, and that's the relationship between whatever relationship there is between her and Yara Greyjoy, because what is that exactly?
I so that way.
Like, based on that trailer, what exactly are they just fucking? Are they?
Did they drink? I mean,
Did they get drunk and hook up? Are they together? Does she save her from something? Does she die? Did she try to kill? Because we know if she kisses, she can kill you.
Yes.
So is she doing it to kill Yara Greyjoy? I I don't know. I don't know. I'm not happy with this. Is what I'm saying. What did you? Let's start there. What do you feel like? We'll start not just with that, but all the as far as the state of the relationships that we have been shown in trailers or that we already know exist. How do you feel about the? I say relationships. I mean in the like attractive, romantic, sexual fashion. Like, how do you feel about the state of those going into season 7? Do you feel good? Do you feel confident?
Well, that one's weird because, like, yes, Dorne and the Greyjoys are technically allies because they're flying under the Targaryen banner, but there's always internal strife and blah blah blah. I bet you that'll all get hashed out somewhere in the show, maybe if we're lucky, because Dorne's been written horribly from get go. It seems like, but in terms of relationships, I mean, the big one I want to see kind of play out is Jaime and Cersei, because at the end of season 6, when Jaime comes walking back into that throne room and sees Cersei sitting in that throne, and just the look on his face is like, what the fuck did you do? Like, that just has me intrigued the most in this whole season. Just like, what is Jaime gonna do? I mean, because his children are dead and his sister has gone basically insane. So,
Well,
and
but not even that. Like, not only are his kids dead, his enemies are dead.
yeah.
As far as he knows, Tyrion's dead because he doesn't know Tyrion's with Daenerys.
Mm-hmm.
His father's dead, and his father was the only one keeping him in certain situations. The king is dead, and the queen is his lover, so he doesn't have any need to stay in. Um, oh, good lord, the White Cloaks. Good, I entirely lost what Jamie was for a second there. Um, it's been a long day, folks. It's been a real long day.
I don't blame you.
But Jamie doesn't really like. Jamie's conflict is now all internal. Does he stay by Cersei's side or not? Because, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he was in his Kingsguard armor during that trailer. He was in Lannister armor, wasn't he?
I think he was. So he must maybe originally side with Cersei. I mean, things could change. I mean, there are 7 episodes, and based upon like almost the breakneck speed of the trailer, a lot is going to happen in these 7 episodes.
Yeah, that's one of those things. There is one relationship that obviously we didn't mention because people get annoyed by it a lot. Sam and Gilly.
Yeah.
Sam and Gilly seem to be doing something smart. She's learning to read. He's apparently going to learn the cure for grayscale. That's a rumor, folks. That's not necessarily confirmed yet. But he's apparently going to study at the Citadel for at least part of the season because we see him studying during the various trailers and leaked footage.
Yes.
So that is nice. But the relationship that I really want to see blossom into something amazing.
What relationship?
Brienne and Tormund.
I think you and all of the internet want that so bad. Everybody's shipping that so hard. I mean, I'd love to see that too because I think it'd be great because you got 2 great fighters.
I just think it's hilarious because the internet, yes, the internet loves it, but the internet immediately went to shipping her as the dominant force in that relationship.
Yes.
So they were using old school romance covers with him in the dress as the woman. I was like, yes.
I mean, not to say Tormund can't hold his own. We saw that at the Battle of the Bastards, but yeah, I see Brienne kind of being the more dominant part of that because she can kick some serious ass.
Yeah, and listen, she's not only a badass fighter, but she's a lot more intelligent than folks than most of the badass fighters we get in Game of Thrones. Like the Mountain's an idiot. Like as Robert Strong or as the Mountain, he's a complete dolt. But the Hound's not too much smarter. So So it's really kind of refreshing to get a extremely intelligent fighter,
Yeah.
like who's a true badass fighter.
Yeah, they didn't dump all their stats into strength. They actually dumped some of their stats into wisdom and intelligence.
Yeah, yeah. That's a D&D joke for folks that didn't get that.
I'm here for the D&D jokes, guys.
Oh man, but because and I would even say Loris was also a stupid fighter.
Oh yeah.
He was very good at it and very flashy. He was also really stupid for being that flashy. Um, and ultimately, he got blown up in a church. Uh,
Right?
but let's speaking of blowing people up in churches with wildfire, what particularly like was there anything that you saw that the moment you saw it, it it shook you a bit? Because there's one thing that I saw that absolutely shook me for
Was
this.
it the wildfire scene in the trailer? Because I think the one thing that shook me was the battle scenes. Because like most of those, because like even though the Battle of the Bastards was freaking epic, some of these scenes that they show in the trailer just looks like they just took that and they upped the ante. Because they're beautiful shots.
Well, what shook me actually wasn't even that. It was Daenerys in the north in the snow. Because
Ah.
that certainly didn't look like it was anywhere near King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like she was actually in the north with one of her dragons, which seems to confirm one of the rumors that have been circulating around. And this is a dangerous rumor. Uh, the rumor was that what's going to happen is Daenerys will bring her dragons north to kind of help Jon out at the last minute, kind of try and save everyone in a major battle with the others. The Night's King specifically being there,
Mm-hmm.
and that one of her dragons will get taken.
Yes.
And that's, of course, that's been a rumor that is from one of the leaked scripts that we have no veracity on. But that undead dragon,
That takes this
speaking
whole
blue flame
board.
or ice.
Oh, Song of
Yeah.
Fire of Ice. A Song of Ice and Fire. Besides the Targaryen snow thing, that's kind of adds to it too. But
Well, it's interesting. Obviously, you have Jon at some point finding his heritage. You have the dragons possibly being in the north. That, of course, gets us to the thing to worry about, the wall. So, all right, here's the deal. You're not a regular with us, so you don't have an option to think about this long term. You got to say it right here, right now.
okay,
Does the wall fall in season 7?
I think it does actually,
Okay.
based upon the fear of the White Walkers and the army of them growing because of all the mistakes that Jon has kind of made behind the wall, especially like in was that Harrowhold, was that big scene where basically the whole town just got taken over by the White Walkers. Like the army is growing, and if it's confirmed that he does get a dragon, you're pretty much screwed at that point. And I think the wall is coming down.
Okay. Now, do you think it's a conscious decision to take the wall down, or do you think it's someone's mistake that causes the wall to fall?
I honestly think it's a mistake, and it's going to be a very fatal mistake.
Interesting. All right. So, we Revan and I talked about this once in one of our many crazy Game of Thrones theories chats that somehow always ended up being partially right. We don't know how this works. Don't ask us to confirm this. Weird stuff happens on our show. Uh, but when Bran has his uh, vision where in the Werewoods where he ends up giving the others a way to get into the cave
Mm-hmm.
where the children and Bloodraven are, um, that happens because of what happens while he's traveling through the Werewood net. I think Bran going under the wall may cause the same situation to happen while he's doing essentially the same thing. He's going back through the Werewood net to find something, maybe see what happened to Bloodraven or find some place that he thought he saw while he was training or something.
Mm-hmm.
and that is he finds the Horn of Winter, and it just suddenly blows, and the wall falls.
Ooh.
I don't think the wall falls at all during the majority of the season. I think the last image we see is the wall like starting to fall, and it's like it starts to crush Castle Black. I think Dolores Ed gets killed as the wall falls on top of Castle Black.
Yeah, I think most of the Night's Watch probably does get wiped out because of the wall falling. That would seem. I honestly think that's probably what's going to happen because then you lose. That's a big part of the northern army that John has. I mean, he has all those allies at Castle Black, so you lose them, and then you basically the Wall Walkers have like nothing to fight them before he gets to Jon Snow.
It's also because it's very TV to do something like that, and since Martin isn't writing the show anymore, that's the perfect TV thing to do to end the season.
Yeah, especially if the rumors are true and they're not going to show the last season until 2019. That's just going to be the biggest dickish thing, and people are going to be insanely mad that they have to wait 2 years.
They're going to Westworld it because apparently they're spending $15 million an episode on these episodes.
Yeah,
15,
something like that.
Apparently, there's $4 million on average more per episode this year than last year, which was the most expensive season. Like that's nuts. So
you can kind of like said tell from like some of the scenes you see in the trailer, they're putting that money to good use, but it's expensive. It's like this is becoming one of the most expensive shows on TV, I'm sure.
Ever, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the most expensive show ever.
Yeah, at least it's good quality. It's high quality.
I said it's something like 4 times what it costs to shoot Battlestar Galactica is what they're spending right now.
Wow.
Because for a long time, Battlestar Galactica actually spent quite a few years as the most expensive show, the remake version, obviously. But this is apparently like so much more expensive. And it's like, wow. All right, let's rock with it.
Go big or go home, apparently.
Yeah, I want to kind of sweep around a little bit and get over, because we've talked about Sam again. We've talked about the Daenerys situation, sort of. But let's really talk about her herself and her and Tyrion and Jorah and Dario, part of my namesake. What do you think's gonna happen there? Because we see what we think is Jorah's hand reaching out from that doorway. We don't really know what Tyrion's up to over the course of things that we've seen some kind of leaked images of him in different places. Daenerys obviously seems to be going to Dragonstone first instead of just immediately invading in Westeros. So what do you think about the direction they're going with her and her arrival to Westeros?
I have a feeling they're probably gonna drag it out a little bit. Like she won't get actually to Westeros. They'll probably like episode 4. I have a feeling because she's gonna slowly kind of take over like the southern islands of Westeros and kind of, and then people kind of hear whispers of her name and stuff of like Daenerys coming back and the Dothraki army and stuff, because they're gonna have the fights too very soon with the Dothraki army.
See, that's interesting. I don't think that's. I think they're going to go a lot faster than that. I think we're going to get a big opening battle to take Dragonstone.
Okay.
And I think following that, she's going to rest a moment. Not nearly obviously as long as she did with Marine, but I think she's going to rest a moment, and that's going to be where Euron gets a chance to defeat part of her fleet and take Yara to Cersei and all that. Which will prompt her to move faster. And I think, whereas before we thought maybe she was going to rush in to King's Landing and send Cersei on the run and then be like, yo, I have all this. What do I need Jon Snow for?
Right.
Like, his dad helped kill my father. Whereas that I thought was initially my thought. That was initially my thought. I think now she's going to have a bad beat that causes her to work with Jon Snow.
See, yeah, I have a feeling they're eventually going to have to meet up. Like my brother is his whole theory is that eventually him and Daenerys are going to meet up. They are going to marry to combine their armies to basically take over King's Landing.
Oh, they're not going to marry.
I don't think they're going to marry.
Because plot twist, people, Daenerys is the real villain of Game of Thrones. Yeah, I said it. Yes, the others are definitely a thing, and they are a problem. And yes, we will have to fight them. But I don't think that battle's gonna. I don't think we're gonna get there the way you people think we're getting there. I think this finish is gonna end with either Daenerys like demanding things and Jon going, "Look, if you're not gonna help me fight the White Walkers, I don't have to help you with shit. Like you can die." I Book Daenerys is very clearly actually the villain, and how people don't see that, I still don't know. But show Daenerys is definitely going to have to die, and especially because Cersei's apparently surviving into season 8. Daenerys gonna die because she does something stupid and has to make up for it by sacrificing herself. And those dragons are her stupid thing because she doesn't find necessity in additional dragon riders. Like Tyrion clearly is liked by the dragons enough for them to not eat him, so you should put him on a dragon. Jon Snow is from the north, but he's about to find out he's a Targaryen. You should put him on a dragon. Instead, you're not, and that's what's gonna get the dragon captured. And Daenerys, distraught by the situation, will turn on her allies to cause all the problems that go forward. Daenerys is gonna be the bad one. I think I think a lot of stuff's going to happen like that. I think we're getting a lot of like twist for twist's sake as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering which characters come back. We saw a Gendry sighting, which I was really happy about. Did you see that?
Yes, I did see that because Gendry's been rowing that boat since season 3, 2.
Hey, Gendry does not skip arm day.
No, Gendry does not skip arm day. I mean, he skipped leg day, but he doesn't skip arm day.
But and then that's the thing. Like I like what they're doing, even though it's taken forever for him to come back. I like that they're addressing him and giving him what seems to be Robert's Warhammer, which is a interesting situation. You have Ned Stark's not son, and Robert Baratheon's bastard son.
Yeah, not son. Well, yeah, bastard.
Other way, not son. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're giving them basically like their father's implements. I'm wondering what happens. Like I don't think Ice is going to get reforged, unfortunately, but I'm wondering if Jon gives Longclaw back to Jorah when Jorah gets cured, and so he gets a new sword. I would like Dawn, but Dawn hasn't shown up yet properly. But that's a whole nother crazy theory show. I promise we'll do a crazy theory show when Revan gets available again. Matter of fact, we may even bring in Jenni and her brother to talk crazy theories.
Oh, my brother would be totally game for crazy theories, believe me.
Yeah, major crazy theory is that Jon Snow is actually not Lyanna and Rhaegar's son, but rather is Brendan and Ashara's son.
Yeah, my brother's gonna fight you on that. I'm just gonna warn you that. He's gonna fight you on that.
Hey, I have evidence to back my stuff up, so I'm fine with that.
I know you do. I know.
I admit that it's crazy, but I think that's really the case. I think Dany is the actual Lyanna and Rhaegar's son, Lyanna Rhaegar kid.
So she's half Stark, half Targaryen.
Yeah, because there are no lemon trees in Bravos.
Yeah.
If your brother's listening, there are no lemon trees in Bravos.
None. I will let him know.
And he's like, he's a Preston Jacobs fan. You damn right I'm a Preston Jacobs fan. And I agree with him. I totally agree with him. I went back and looked over stuff again myself to make sure this doesn't make sense. Shit, it does make fucking sense. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. I wish that he would get Dawn, but I think maybe he gets Widow's Wail, which is the other half of Ice that is currently in Lannister possession, because the last person that had it was Joffrey, and he was not buried with it. So I actually think, which by the way, that would be hilarious, folks. We're gonna slow things down for a second and tell this crazy theory as we go into the next bit of news and info here. Tell me how much fun everyone would have if every episode as the White Walkers get further and further south, dead people from earlier in the series come back as come back as whites. Like you sweep through the Riverlands and obviously like Cat pops up suddenly as the others come through the twins. So now Catelyn Stark is like a white having to fight her kid and all that. Oh,
Well, considering they didn't do what she did in the book, would make sense.
well, it's a very TV thing. Like if you remember when Scrubs ended the first time, they had they tried to get every single character that had ever been on the show in for that last episode, and then had all of them in the staff for the show do that fourth wall breaking ending. I think that would be a cool way to do that very TV show ending, is to have like as the White Walkers keep coming south, every dead person that you've ever seen on the show that is of course still alive in real life comes back to play a zombified version of themselves. The Blackfish comes back and just everybody. I think that'd be a really cool way to send everyone off in season 8 of just zombies. Just everybody's Lysa head bashed in, but a zombie. You know what I mean? Like just Robert Aaron, the first dead person that well, technically the second dead person we see in the series, back to life. Seriously, who's gonna get killed? In season 8, come back as a white. I think Jane's actually gonna kill her, which would make me so happy. Joffrey gets up out of his tomb. Zombie Joffrey has to happen, people. Yeah, I know you're mad as crazy.
No, I kind of want Zombie Joffrey now. I really do.
Think about it. An even creepier. Well, I guess there's not enough left of Ramsay to make a zombie, but like Roose Bolton, zombie Roose Bolton.
Oh Jesus!
Not he didn't already look like a zombie in real life to begin with. Zombie Roose Bolton.
Wouldn't take much, but hey, zombie Roose Bolton, yeah.
Oh man, just on that zombie Rickon. Like yes.
Oh jeez.
So, all right, so let's get out of my craziness.
Yes.
So we talked a lot about the major groups infighting. I want to talk a little bit about the intrigue, and that's what do you do with Peter Baelish and my boy Varys? What do you do with the Spider and the Chaos Ladder? Like, what do you do with them this season? What do you think?
That's a really good question because, I mean, Littlefinger's kind of getting pushed out of the north as it is with with the friction between him and Sansa. Sansa pretty much not wanting anything to do with him now that she's home and she's back, technically under Stark banner. So that'd be interesting to see because does he still keep his side with House Aaron, because he technically has House Aaron under his control because he's technically the ruler, I think.
Well,
it's all confusing because I don't know.
Sweet Robin is the actual Lord of the Vale.
Yeah.
But he essentially controls Sweet Robin and thus controls the Vale army. I don't like how Sansa handled that situation, but Sansa's her own topic. We're going to get to her next. But yeah, but what about Varys? What do you do with Varys?
I know, because Varys is pretty much because now that Daenerys is in Westeros, he could still send out his his allies out there to get information for the war, but I don't know what else in terms of political intrigue he's capable of doing right now unless something happens internally within the Targaryen army and all their allies, current allies. Who knows?
I like it. Now, well, I feel like unfortunately I think Varys is going to die.
No, I kind of think in that sense too. His usefulness is kind of coming to an end.
Yeah, I feel like they purposely cut him off early because, for those that don't read the books, Varys does a lot of scheming. Varys' current scheming level is way beyond what you have ever seen on this TV show. Like I feel like they have done him a disservice with some of the stuff they've done with him on the show. Even though I love moments like him with Tyrion is always good.
Oh yeah.
Because that felt like a real in the only way two manipulative people can be friends. That felt like a real friendship.
Yes.
And to break that up was just sad. Just like breaking up Tyrion and Brom, sad. Yeah, Brom's also going to die this season. He has nothing to do. He also has nothing to do, and no one around to care about. But I feel like Varys has outlived his usefulness for the show because we're not scheme time anymore. Unless we're gonna pull the Aegon, literally pull actual Aegon out of nowhere, which they basically said they're not doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for him to be around at all, and he's a big enough character that killing him really changes the tone.
Yeah,
it's not quite killing Ned at the end of the first season, but it
still would hurt Daenerys and her army, because that's a big part, the information gathering part of it. Yeah, that would definitely damage her tactics and stuff.
Her spies are gone at that point. I mean, her real ability to spy is gone at that point because Hilaria Sand can't do spying. She doesn't spy. She just gets her daughters and their half sisters to go murder people.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Dorne.
I gotta calm down. Like my favorite part of Game of Thrones, was seeing the beginning of all the Dornish lines. All the Dornish storylines were starting. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see the Dornish. What the fuck are they doing? What the fuck? What are you doing? Why?
Flip over the table.
Yeah, Varys dies. I also think Baelish dies, but that brings to a problem. What is Sansa Stark at this point?
Because very true.
She got Jen Poole's storyline.
Mm-hmm.
She got a bit of Jane Westerling's storyline. She's been passed around the torture terror wheel at every turn. Like if she wasn't being tortured by a man, she was being terrorized by a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like over and over again. For some reason, they were using her. Like Ramsay started using her to break Theon, which did they
sense?
Help me? Because Riven and I have talked about this like privately.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever establish that Theon had a thing for Sansa?
No, I really don't think so. I think it was just more because I think Theon was just very guilty. Basically, he got the rest of House Stark killed. Maybe?
No, I specifically mean that wedding scene where Ramsay made him watch.
Oh, why he didn't do anything to stop that?
What? Like forgetting to stop it. What? Like he's standing there crying.
Yeah.
But it's not that like, oh my god, this is so sad. I can't believe I'm being forced to watch this. Yeah. It was one of those, but I loved Sansa like kind of situations with what happens right before it.
True.
And I was just like, I don't. From there forward, and then she becomes manipulative with Baelish enough to lie to him about marrying him if he comes to help save her, which is a whole nother kettle of fish. We'll deal with that in a separate episode, people. I have different problems with that for a whole different set of reasons. And words like friend zone definitely come up in it. But like, what is she? Because she can't kill Baelish now.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. She won't kill Baelish.
She can't even get Jon to do it either.
No.
Because like without Peter, he's gonna be like, but he's literally saved us.
Yeah.
Like if the veil doesn't show up, we lose. And you chose not to tell me that the veil was a possibility. Like what? Why are you trying to get me to do this?
Yeah. And Sansa got information from from John from the Battle of the Bastards saying, "Oh yeah, I have this whole army that I can control. Well, because I kind of know this guy."
Hey, if I fuck this guy, we can have an army tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me that 4 days ago?
Right.
Like, I would handle this entire battle differently. Well, I didn't want you to count on it because I don't know if I want to fuck him. Are you serious?
Yeah,
Pretty much. Die. Of course, he dies anyway because he doesn't know how to zigzag. A Stark doesn't know how to zig. A
Yeah.
Stark who hunts in the north doesn't know how to zigzag to avoid an arrow.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's so many things wrong with that. And that's a great episode, but there's so many things wrong with that. And I feel like the director for the episode got forced to do that because it doesn't look natural at all. It looks like he didn't want to do it at all.
Like if it was in actual life, he would have zigzagged like a motherfucker.
And apparently Ramsey can shoot farther than literally every fucking bowman who has ever existed with perfect accuracy.
Yep.
He's shooting far enough that marksmen with guns would have trouble making that shot. Forget an arrow that has to get moved by the wind.
Yeah, I mean, this is like you're already taking like, you're taking you're taking misses from rolling for that. So don't tell me like he rolled a natural 20 on that. That's bullshit.
Exactly. So there's that. But Sansa bothers me because it's like, what are you going to do with Baelish? He can essentially force you to marry him, or even deeper, he can force you to be betrothed to Sweet Robin because he's the only, like, actually, he can't even do that. He knows Tyrion's alive.
Yeah. So he could still technically have Sansa and Tyrion because technically aren't they still married? Theoretically?
Yeah. Unless Tyrion dies or they somehow force the High Septon to annul the marriage,
that ain't happening.
They still married. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's going to be a new High Septon. The High Sparrow went up in smoke.
Well, that whole church went up in smoke.
Sissy said, "What church?"
There is no church in the state. There is only the state.
There is no church in Westeros. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Oh, but yeah, like I wonder about the Sansa because what do you do with her? Like,
it kind of even seems like that in the trailer too. Is like they kind of hint like, what is your purpose? Because really, because Jon has now basically taken control of the North and House Stark, and she's kind of left to the wayside. Like, okay, I don't know what we're gonna do with her. She's been a badass, so.
Yeah, I just don't know what to accomplish with her. I don't know what she can do that can get her out of the situation that we're in with her in the first place. So, where she can have more agency. Unless Jon decides to leave her at Winterfell or send her to Edmure in Riverrun, but that's Lannister territory.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of options.
And he wouldn't send her to the Citadel. That would make no sense either, because just same Gilliard. So there's really, where does Sansa go? She's home, but it's like, well, now what?
Yeah, I just don't know what to do with her. I don't know what to do with her. Honestly, I don't have.
As a writer, this is kind of where you're like, well, shit, it got you from point A to point B. Yes, there was lots of points in the middle, but fuck, I don't know what to do with you now.
Yeah, I just don't know what to do with her. How she has not gone on a full psychopathic rampage herself, or otherwise just gone crazy and killed herself at this point in the show, really defies all logic.
Yeah, because she's been psychologically tortured, physically tortured, abused, raped, everything under the sun and more. It seems like.
And now we get to my favorite girl, my buddy, who I wish I could have as a little sister or like a goddaughter to just go take on adventures. Macy Williams, aka Arya Stark.
Yes.
I
Uh,
love Arya. Like people know this. I absolutely love Arya. I hated what they did with her in the House of Black and White, but I love I love that like Macy Williams approaches it with this like weird glee.
mhm,
Like she has this weird combination of like zero affect, but and intensity, but like absolute childlike exuberance
mhm.
and glee that just makes it just wonderful. Uh, it's so great.
It adds like kind of like weird psychosis to the character in a way because like she's kind of been twisted enough to like murdering is good and all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and she's screwed in the head, but she's really funny with it.
Yeah.
Of course, we see Arya bake the Frey pies, which listen, folks, we are not. I talked to Revan about this at the time it happened. We are not going to get into the logistics of her and this fucking pies
Oh
because
yeah.
there's no way it's possible. She has to kill 3 men at least because we show at least 3 sons at the dinner. She has to
Yep.
kill 3 men, make giant pie
You
crusts,
also cut up their bodies. Prepare them.
what does it say? Debone the bodies
Mhm.
after separating out the organs so that their blood doesn't get into the meat and that so that their bowels don't leach into the meat.
Yeah.
Bake the pies and then serve them at the dinner.
Oh
Did
my
she
god,
just hold?
guys!
Did she hold the entire kitchen staff at knife point the whole time?
At needlepoint.
Like,
Sorry. They watch ratings though. I'm sorry.
oh,
I've been listening to too
oh,
many puns. I apologize.
you will pay for that horrible, horrible joke later. Oh, oh, but yeah, like what in the fuck? Like, we're not getting the logistics of that, but we know she's killed them. She's killed Walder Frey, and she still got her list.
Yeah.
There's still some people that gotta die. Cersei's one of them. So the question is she going to Winterfell immediately, or is she going home? Or is she going to King's Landing? I kind of hope she goes home first.
Me too.
I want a
I
full
got.
on Stark reunion.
I
It's
the whole.
TV,
Yeah.
but I want full Stark reunion.
Yeah. I kind of do too. I mean, I don't. I think she's smart enough to realize I can't just go walking right into King's Landing. Yes, I have all these disguises and stuff because of my time under the Faceless Men, but I don't. I think she's smart enough to realize I can't do this. I need to have maybe the cover of war to possibly do this.
Yeah, I'm and also wondering since technically Jaqen Hagar was not the one who trained her at the House of Black and White.
Mhm.
Where's Jaqen? Is he going to show up again? Because we haven't really that's the thing. We've heard a lot about the major characters that are definitely signed on, but it's always the minor characters that make the difference. Like the
Yes.
minor characters have not we have not gotten a lot of confirmation. So I'm very interested to see um, what's going there.
Mhm.
What do we got? What's the deal here? So I'm really into it.
All pops up in the woodwork this season.
And like I said, I want zombie everybody. Just everybody who dies just pops back up. I want Sean Bean's head to show up as a white at some point. Not his whole body, not his whole body, just his head on the ground.
Just like attached to the hip of the zombie.
I want some weird stuff. I want somebody to slice his face off and put it on their hand like he's D from Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Like I want weird stuff out of Game of Thrones at the end here because they have gone that's the final thing. We're going to talk about this as a final thing, so I'll say it a little bit. But I want because we're no longer dealing with the books. I want weirdness in my Game of Thrones now. Like I want random oddities to start happening.
Are we almost? Are you thinking almost like fan fictiony? Not. I guess I don't want to say fan fictiony in a way because that's kind of wrongish. Because this is still, technically, I guess, canon in a way.
There's some fan fiction stuff I want. So yeah, go for it. Tell me. Say it.
Sorry, I'm plugging because my brother has now joined me. So say hi, Tyler.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Tyler. John is really the son of Brandon and Ashara Dane.
You gonna fight him on that?
No. Let you believe what you want to believe.
She said that you'd get very mad about me saying that, so I had to go ahead and say it.
He is very disappointed. He's a very disappointed look on his face.
We'll save that talk for a whole other episode. We definitely want you to come back on during the season when we're doing those. We like to do a season recap, an episode recap for each show, but we also like to do like crazy theories for the next week at certain points. So we'd love to have you guys, both of you guys, on for that as well.
All right.
But glad to have you here for the moment.
Yeah, he's held a totally game for that.
As long as I'm still in town.
Yeah, I think he'll be in town, yeah. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, so the one fan fiction kind of thing I actually want is the people that have been pushing this Euron Greyjoy and Dario Naharis are the same person. I really want the show to just be like, yeah, Euron's actually a faceless man, and he's also Dario Naharis. Like, yeah, what do you mean? Like, I want them to pop up with the weird stuff now, because we know this is not how George R. R. Martin's going to end the books. So
Right.
I want a more serious still, but I want a lighthearted approach to the seriousness that's left in the show. Just because at this point you have no rules.
True.
And
If Dario and Euron are both faceless men, they have to have the same time traveling ability as Varys does at the end of season 6. So,
well, yeah, that's the whole thing between Varys and Peter Baelish is that they keep stealing each other, like the transportation device, their teleporter. They keep stealing it from each other. That's why they hate each other.
Yes.
definitely.
People were watching like, oh, here we go, the crazy theories. Like, yes, people, we're at that point. No, but I actually want to kind of end with this and get you guys' thoughts. Since I have you both here, knowing what we've got left, I think 6 episodes in season 8, but they're apparently all going to be 60 minutes or more for all 6. Knowing that's the situation that we're faced with, is there anything in particular that you definitely want this season, and anything in particular you definitely want held off from this season to go in the final season?
Well, I would definitely like the final battle with the Night's King to be held off until season 8. I feel like right now they're going to have to try and just settle the 7 kingdoms or the 7 realms in Westeros and let that shit kind of come down.
Of course.
I also really need to see the goddamn Clegane Bowl this season.
I'm with you on that one. But, okay, you said you want to hold off the battle with the Night's King till the final season. So would you prefer no fighting the others in this season, or just, like, not having the true, like, a true opening to the conflict then?
Well, I mean, are we going off of knowledge from the trailer? Because
yeah, use whatever knowledge you have. Anything you've seen. Obviously, all rumors. This is an entire, like, people know this show is full of spoilers. Our show is full of spoilers.
I mean, I've done my best to avoid spoilers off the internet, but what I did see is in the trailer they have the clip of Jon Snow in what looks like wildling regard or attire running through winter, and it doesn't seem like he would be wearing that kind of shit if he was still in Westeros, but he would have to be north of the wall. So I feel like they're going to touch on it. And I mean, I personally have a crazy theory that, maybe Daenerys is going to try and help this season, and they're going to lose one of her dragons, and that'll get taken by the Night King because they can resurrect animals. So that's kind of where I'm going on this season and kind of hoping, because, I mean, that would be great. They always reference the Dance of Dragons in the books, which was a fight, the Civil War of the Targaryen family, where it was dragons against dragons. So maybe they're going to try and work that into this final battle.
There you go. All right.
I told you this was a bond.
No, I like it. And of course, what's the besides Clegane Bowl, because I think that's every fan at this point really wants to see that fight happen. What's another major thing you want to see? Like, what's a major plot thing you want to see resolved or held, resolved in the season?
I'd like to know what the hell happened to Gendry.
He's been doing Arm Day for like the last 4 years.
Yeah, probably just swole. He could probably take the mountain on himself.
He comes out, his arms are like the size of his body. He's just got these 2 giant arms. Like,
oh, yeah. What have you been doing for the last 3 years? Just rows, man. Nothing but rows.
Seated rose bra. Do you even stroke? All right, Jenny. What about you?
Um,
One thing you want held back, and one thing you absolutely want resolved.
well, I think, and I know this is going to be held back, is, Cersei's demise. Maybe not like her death, per se, but maybe her demise from the throne in King's Landing, and the demise of the Lannisters as the ruling house in Westeros. I don't know if I want to see that this season, or if I want to see that in season 8. I kind of am like floundering between that.
Okay.
I don't know if Cersei's going to die, say, before the House Lannister loses their ruling right.
All right.
So.
Well, one of her family members has to be the one to kill her. That's what the prophecy says.
Well, it says somebody's little brother, not necessarily her little brother.
It's just the Valanquar.
Yeah. So, my thing that I want to see held back, man, I just don't want him to die. I know he's gonna. I don't want the Hound to die this season. I know he's gonna die.
Right.
I don't want him to die this season. I really want him. If he goes out, I want him going out. One after killing his brother, but also because Clegane Bowl, duh. But but I want him doing some kind of sacrifice in the final season that's a bit more poignant, because I think as far as overall growth, he's one of those characters that has had the most growth over the course of the series, and I would like to see him be treated properly and really kind of given that this episode isn't all about the Hound, but this episode is all about the death of the Hound. Like, I need that moment. I need Arya to see it. I need a lot of people, particular people, to see it, but it needs to be done in a certain fashion. The thing I want resolved, man, look, can Gilly's baby actually be the age it should be at this point? This baby has been 2 months old for the last 17 years, and I'd like to know, I would like to have this fixed at some point. But it really I would like to see Sam's storyline in general kind of wrapped up to where he becomes who he should be, as opposed to just playing around with, well, he should be Maester and he's not improving in this fashion. Like, I want Sam to finally either face up to his father, or his father dies and he keeps the sword anyway. Like, whatever that's going to be, I would like to see that happen. I'd like to see a little bit more Sam the Slayer than we've been getting in a more serious format. I hope he lives through the series, but I'm kind of betting on him dying too, and baby Sam really being the only one to survive, with maybe Arya raising him. Who knows? But those are my things that I want held back. I will get out of here on some quick George R. R. Martin news. There was a confirmed new ISBN from his publisher that people are thinking could possibly be for his book, which means the book could be released in the next year or so. They usually don't do that with more than 12 months before a release. So we may get Winds of Winter. I personally think that we are not getting the next book until after Season 8 finishes, unless they push Season 8 to 2019. If they push to 2019, then I think we get a book end of this year, at some point next year. But if they actually do it in 2018, I think the final season ends, and then we get the book release.
Well, personally, I want to think that they're probably holding off on publishing this book until George R. R. Martin finishes everything, and then they can just cut it in half and say, this part we publish as Winds of Winter, this part we publish as Hope of Spring. But I would kind of hope that the next book comes out before Season 8. I mean, just so that we can kind of see, like, we've seen the last 2 seasons of work. What's the book basis that they're going to go off of, or that George R. R. Martin had in mind for this? That's kind of what I would hope, but I feel like he's going to hold off on publishing one until he gets both books finished.
That's fair. Totally fair. So that's it for us, folks. We're going to get out of here. I want to thank both my co-hosts here, my guest stars for the evening. Revanchist will be back for our actual review series after each episode. You remember, you can find us either that Monday or sometimes that Sunday night after the show wraps. We will do the review for that episode. And usually at some point midweek, we'll do some crazy theories, any other major reflections, and any updates as well. If we get a book drop or some more book confirmed news other than the sample chapters that are out, we'll of course hit you guys up with those as well. But for now, I am the Ruthless Wonder, not a Ruthless Wonder. You have been watching Streamlife Game of Thrones Season 7 preview. So for everybody at 314 Publishing, Imperial Dreams Productions, words don't do it justice. Weekends don't do it justice. The Wrath of Ruthless Podcast, words don't do it justice podcast. MCW, and Cheaters Guide to the Universe. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.